Hi guys, welcome back. So I want you to remember that even though we're picking up all these items and stuff, um, there's no data on these items. In the sense, if you go to BP master item, even though we're making children of these items technically, all of these are children of this main master blueprint. Um, I can actually add more variables to this. I can add a variable like name, change that to a name. I can add, I don't know, damage number, right? Yeah, make that, float. I can do all this, and obviously I can make these public. And when I do that, whenever I spawn a new item, maybe this chair, call it chair of doom, and I can have a damage number of maybe, I don't know, 25, right? So, and I can maybe call this the pillar of sorrow, or damaged movement. I don't know, I'm just coming up with random names, right? So this is a good way for you to maybe have items with different damage. You can do a lot of things with the items, essentially. But a better way to do that is to use something called enumeration, and we go over enumerations and something called structures. So just like you have an Excel sheet, you can actually you can go here and you can go to, I think it's in blueprints, and you can go to structure. All right, so let me just show you what a structure is like very quickly. I can open this structure. The structure is just something that collects a lot of variables. So I can have, a name. I can have a new variable. I can actually make 3 variables. Name, static mesh. Let's make this static mesh. Let's drag this down for you guys. Right, these are default values. Name, static mesh, damage, something else, maybe healing ability, something, whatever you want. Make this name float. We can do fun stuff like this, and when you have a structure like this, what you have to do is just you can utilize the structure to populate all the variables in BP master. You can set all these variables depending on the structure, but it's a very, very simple task, and I'm kind of going to leave it to you guys as homework. But having a structure like this allows somebody who's not a game designer to actually come up with the items, and that saves you as the game designer and the developer to kind of focus on the game while somebody else sits and designs the 100 items that your game needs. So it's a good way to kind of separate the two tasks. In our mentorships, we actually teach you how to work with another player or another game designer, where you guys use something called source control to where one person manages the levels while the other person manages the items, and we keep rotating who manages what so that you have the full experience of being in sort of a game studio. Okay, back to this episode. In this episode, I kind of want to quickly make sure that we are able to play a different animation if somebody has an item. So if I punch like this, that's great. But if I have this item, jump is okay, but when I press punch, as you can see, he's still doing a punch, and he's not swinging that bat or the pillar that he has. So I'm going to go to Mixamo, right? Just going to go to Mixamo, and let's see if there's a swing. Wow, this is some Spider-Man level stuff. That's not what I meant by swing. Okay, this is, well, let's see, bat. Left sword. I don't know. I'm just trying to find a nice. Just trying to find a good. Okay, this is good. He's still not swinging it. He's still not. Let's take this. This looks dramatic. This looks really dramatic. I love this. Obviously, the character is moving forward in this, which might be a little bit of an issue. But let's get this. Let's see what happens. Just going to download. Save this. I've traditionally always had problems with pulling in. Oh my god. Skeleton we want is the character skeleton. Import. Oops, we imported in the wrong folder. It shouldn't matter, but still not good for management purposes. Let's just move this. Right click, asset actions. Actually, screw it. Let's just be here. Cool. So what we're going to do is we are just going to go into our blueprints, VB master item. If somebody has kind of walked over an item, actually let's go back to our main player blueprint. In our third person character, let's comment this. Let's just say drop items, right? Let's create something new called holding item, right? And let's make this a public variable, right? And by default, it's false. Now, what we're going to do is in this thing, if this happens after this attached to component, we will cast to third person character, right? Because we need to go into this blueprint to manipulate this. And as third person character, we'll set the value of is holding item. We'll set this value to true. But we'll say this guy picked up something, right? We need an object, so let's get player character and plug this into the object, right? So we'll set the holding item to be true whenever he runs over something, and at the same time, when we drop something, what we want to do is we want to set this to false. He's no longer holding items because we've kind of dropped everything. In fact, we can be a little smarter, right? Let's not run the loop every time he presses the F button. Instead, we'll check this. We'll get if he's holding item. And if he is holding item, we branch that. If that's true, then we do all of this nonsense. Otherwise, it's a waste of resources for us to go through all the actors and stuff if he's not holding an item. So, cool. All right, so if he is holding an item and he presses punch, what we'll do is instead of setting punching, we'll branch, okay, and we get the holding item. If he is holding item, then don't do any of this. We'll put this in the false branch of this. Then if it's true, we'll just print string can't punch holding item. Compile, save. This should work. Can't punch holding item, but now I can punch. See, it's so flawless and simple. That's perfect. Now you can punch, and of course all our collisions, everything should work. But when we have this item, then, well, can't punch holding item. Great. So we go back to our third person character. Now instead of this string, let's put up a new variable, and let's call it smash. Is smashing question mark? And let's set this. Set is smashing to true. And what's the length of our animation? The new, weird animation. I really think this should be, actually, let me just delete this and put this in the other folder. Just being careful, teaching myself and you guys a lesson. So let's go here and pull this straight from Firefox into this place, import this. See, this time the skeleton was automatically set because it's in the right folder. So you guys have to be a little bit careful. Okay, so let's just see the total length of this. This is 1.867 seconds. As you can see, he's smashing with that glass. 1.867 seconds, fine. Delay for 1.867 seconds. Fantastic. And then we'll just we'll set is smashing to false. Cool. So we've set an entirely new variable. We're going down a different track. And now what we'll do is in our animation blueprint, in Delhi animations, right, in our anim graph, in our state machine, we'll say that, well, you can smash either if you're in walking, running, or if you're in idle. So we'll create a new state. Just like punching, we'll call it smashing. Okay. And same thing. You guys have already done this. Go back. We'll create all the transition rules in a bit. Idle. And we'll make the same rules from smashing to walking and running. Cool. So we'll fill this in later. First, we need to go back to our event graph and do what we did here. Right. So we'll just cast a third-person character, and we'll see if we can is smashing. Let's get the value of is smashing, and we'll create a new local variable here, just like we did last time. Is smashing underscore local. Remember, all of this, I mean, you needn't have to create local variables if you went to third-person character and just made this and this public variables. But it's not a good idea to make everything public. It can get confusing later, so it's better to stay local. But you could always do that and save yourself this one extra step. Right? So then we'll do set is smashing local. Okay, set that. Okay, fantastic. So either it's punching or it's smashing. On every frame, we'll be able to get that. And in in our anim graph, go inside. And let's see, how do we go from idle to smashing? The same way we went from idle to punching. How do we go from idle to punching? We just checked if is punching local is true, and then we said can enter transition. So that's all we're going to do. We are effectively going to go from idle and is smashing local. We'll get that value if it's true. If it's true, then you can enter transition. Right? You can go from idle to smashing if is smashing local is true. And vice versa, you can go back from smashing to idle if is smashing local is false. Right? That's just, it's unchecked. False. Right. In fact, because you're running around with something heavy, what I want to do is I want to make sure that go back to our anim graph in our state machine and make sure that you can't smash from walking or running. Maybe we'll make sure that you can only smash if you are going from idle to smashing. Let's make sure that happens. Right? And also in our third-person character, when you smash, I'm going to disable input. Disable input. Right? Get player controller. This is very cramped. And by now, you guys should understand most of this, right? This is not very difficult stuff. We've already done all of this before. Go back to the earlier videos. The video where we did punching, it's exactly the same thing we're doing. We'll enable the input afterwards. Right? So let's see how this works. I'm going to press play. Oops, we're stuck for some seconds, and that's because the game doesn't know which animation to play. So I'm going to go inside smashing. I'm going to pick up our great sword high spin attack. It just looks funny. Compile, save. Hopefully this works. So here's the problem, right? And this is the problem with having animations that Whoops. Here's the problem with having animations that that are not in place. The problem with having animations that are not in place, I'm just gonna show you, is that the character continues to move forward, but you have no control over the character. And once the animation is done, then the character kind of moves ahead. Let me just show you. All right, so trying to pick up just, yep, that's what it was. Ah, god damn it. It's like I'm playing some horror game. So watch this, right? I press the control, and my character moves forward on his own, and then he snaps back to where it was after the animation is over. This is why I like in-place animations, and then if I want to move the character, then I move the character myself. Right, so I think we'll go with some other animation, maybe not the spinning one. So I found this animation called Sword and Shield Slash, and the player goes forward a little bit and then comes back to his original position. This is good. I'm just going to mirror it so that it's with left hand instead of right, and I'm going to download it. Remember, without skin. So just press download. I've already kind of downloaded it here, and I've also imported it in my game, which is, where's that? It's here, Sword and Shield Slash. So it's 1.667 seconds. I just made that change in third player character. 1.667 seconds. I made this off screen so that the animation will fit perfectly. Now in my smashing animation, I'm just going to swap this out. Get the other one. What was it called? Sword Shield Slash. So this should work pretty flawlessly. All right, let's see how this works. So I'm here, and I can punch. Punch is great. Now I have this. Bam. Okay, that's pretty cool. This is really awesome because stop movement, finish the attack swing, and then he comes back to where he's supposed to be. It's good. We could obviously go take it, one step higher and kind of blend the bone based on the legs, but I'm not going to do any of that. That looks okay. Looks fine. Maybe play with the interpolation time a little bit. If I press F, I can move away from it. Let's try the same thing with the chair. That's good. It's pretty good. And that's it for this video, guys. Catch you in the next.